Hello and welcome back to another episode of World Tour on Football Manager 2021, and as you can see we have completed pre-season and we are ready to start the season against Cork City and then a game against Shelbourne. But before we get into those games, there's a few transfers that we need to go through. So if we go to our transfer history page, and I've gone through all of these players I think, but we'll just quickly show you them again. So Jack Cantwell is a backup left winger, pretty decent crossing, 10 passing, 19 years old, so still plenty of room for him to grow. Adam Rooney is a centre back. He'll probably be coming into the first team, I imagine. Heading of 12, marking 9, tackling of 10, very nice. Then Thomas Aluwa is going to be our starting right winger this season. A passing of 12 and 11 technique are the standout attributes for him. Daniel O'Reilly is our left back this season. Kieran Kelly has left us. He's been released and gone to Longford Town. Heading of 13, marking of 10, tackling of 10. Very good attributes for our new left back. He is 30, which means he'll only be here for a few years, but hopefully he can bring us some success in those few years that he is here. And then finally, Darragh Fox. Well, not finally, but finally for that list of players. Darragh Fox, centre midfielder, advanced playmaker. He will be our starting advanced playmaker this year. 12 first touch, 12 passing, 11 technique, and pretty decent, especially for 20 years old. Still room for him to grow. In terms of the outgoings, so we loaned out Darren Brady for £160. He was one of our young players. He's gone to Bluebell United and apparently he's enjoying life there at the moment. We sold James Quinn for £2,500. He wasn't going to play. I didn't really rate him very much, and his contract was coming up at the end of this season, so got rid of him for a little bit of money. And then, as I said earlier, Kieran Kelly released and went to Longford Town. We have done another signing though. We have got ourselves an affiliate club, a senior affiliate club, Hellas Verona from Italian Serie B. I've been trying to get a senior affiliate club since I got here, basically, since I got to Sligo Rovers, and we've finally got one, and we've managed to get this guy in on loan, Andre. He's a striker, but he can play at right wing as well. He will be playing majority, that's not a word. He will be mainly playing at striker for us this season, our starting striker. You can see his heading's pretty good, of 10, dribbling, first touch and technique, all very good. Hopefully he can grab a few goals for us this year. He's been capped at under 19 level for Romania as well, if that means anything to anyone. In terms of outgoings, Derek Cotaro and Mike McGlynn have both gone on loan to different clubs in the second tier of the Irish Football League. Stuart Devitt was snatched away from us by Cabo under 19s. He's a pretty decent player, to be honest. He's mainly an attacking centre midfielder though, and we don't really play with an attacking centre midfielder, but a bit annoying for him to be snatched away for absolutely nothing. And then elsewhere it's just a few loans for a few more youngsters that we have, all going to Monaghan Cavan, so they are sort of acting as Sligo Rovers B team at the moment. Now, you may recall at the end of last season, John Mann had not signed a new contract and we were planning on selling him. Well, not selling him, but releasing him. He's now signed a new contract, so he's still with us and he'll be one of our starting centre-backs this season. Elsewhere in the squad, there are a few players whose contract is up at the end of the season and I've tried to sell ahead of time, one of which is Alberkis. He doesn't want to sign a new contract. It expires, as I said, at the end of the season, but he's also on very high wages and costs quite a bit of money for the teams that are interested in him. So he's probably just going to go on a free at the end of the season, unfortunately. And the other, I'm pretty sure there's two other players that we've got transfer listed. Yeah, Mark Brady is one of them. He's transfer listed for £2,000. Our backup goalkeeper for this season, since Mikey McGlynn is out on loan. And then Kieran O'Malley, the right winger, I just don't really see I don't think their attributes are that great for the positions that they play. So if we can get a little bit of money for them, that'll be nice. Also, Einar Johnson is still here. He's joined in Longford Town on the 27th of June. He's currently not under a contract with us. He's out of contract, but still here, still able to play. So that is fortunate because we've not really got we've got Dara Power that can play as the ball-winning midfielder or defensive midfielder, but probably something that I need to look at getting in. And now that's all out of the way, it's time for our first game of the season. Everyone else in the league has played once. Our game was postponed. We were meant to be playing Shelburne to start off the season, but unfortunately there was a waterlogged pitch at the showgrounds. I think we were at home. So we start our season instead against Cork City, who got off to a losing start. It would appear against St Pat's Athletic. No, it wasn't. It was against Dundalk. I tell a lie. They lost 2-0 to Dundalk in the first game of the season. Hopefully we can repeat that today. So this is the formation and the lineup that we're going with for the first game of the season. We've got Trevor Murphy in goal. Gallagher is our starting right back this year. John Mann and Rooney in central defence. O'Reilly at left back. Johnson in defensive midfield. Dara Fox is the advanced playmaker. Power is the box-to-box midfielder. Alua, one of our new signings, at right wing. Kearney at left wing, and our loanee Andre up front. Danny Morrissey is on the bench for this one. Of course, he's been our top scorer for the past 2 seasons, but he is getting on a bit. If we do need him, we will bring him on. And our tactical style is once again possession pressing. Our board wants us to play a possession-based pressing style of football that is strong defensively. Now, the only part of that I'm concerned about is the strong defensively part, because we've not really ever been strong defensively, but we'll see how it goes. Apparently I have to give a squad number to Andre. He can have the number 32. Just looks like the type of guy that would enjoy the number 32 on the back of his shirt. So team talk time, and we're going to pump our fist and say we're favourites for a reason. Go out there and make sure they're left in no doubt as to why. So the teams are lined up, and Cork City are one of the 2 teams that have gained promotion to the top tier last season. So we should be beating them. I believe we beat them when we were in Division 1, as Johnson tries a ball over the top of the defence. And our former player there, Jack Brady, is in goal for Cork City today. He plays a long ball forward, gets to Byrne, through to O'Brien Whitmarsh, and that was nearly the greatest of starts for Cork City. Not very good defensively from us, not strong defensively at all, which the board will not be pleased about. Free kick, O'Reilly to take it. It's in the box. I don't know who that was that headed it. It was Rooney on his debut, heading it just wide from that set piece. We can see that we're going to be dangerous from set pieces once again this season. It seems to be one of our fortes, getting goals from free kicks and corners. But we get to half time and it is still 0-0. So we are going to say with hands and hips, I'm not happy with the performance out there. And we'll see if there's anyone that needs to come off. So there's a few 6.4 ratings out there. Inogo Johnson, the defensive midfielder, Dara Power at centre midfield, and Andre up front are all struggling. So what we're going to do is we are going to drop Dara Power to defensive midfield. Johnson is going to come off, and we're going to bring on some more experience onto the field in the form of Gary Buckley in the box-to-box midfield role. Andre is looking motivated, so we'll leave him on for a little bit longer, see if he can do anything for us. If not, Danny Morrissey will be making an appearance. Free kick for Cork City. Malloy takes it, and Eric Malloy has got Cork City the opening goal of the game, his first goal of the season, and it was a pretty decent free kick, to be honest with you, but that's not great news for us. And Andre has actually started performing even worse than he was before, so Danny Morrissey is going to come on for him. And Dara Power is not doing any better in a defensive midfield, so I think we'll move Buckley to defensive midfield, and then we will bring on Conor O'Malley as the box-to-box midfielder as our final change. Free kick, O'Reilly from the left-hand side. Alua's in there. It's headed just wide by Thomas Alua on debut. Couple of chances now from free kicks as we get to the 80th minute. I'm going to make a tactical change. So Kearney is going to move to attacking centre midfield. Morrissey will remain up front as he advances forward, and Alua is going to come in as the deep lying forward, and we are going to switch to attacking. So playing a sort of 4-4-2 diamond formation for the last 10 minutes of this game. But it's a corner for Cork. Byrne whips it in. Barry's there, and that's headed over the bar. I was really hoping that this could be a season where we push on to not have a relegation fight despite our objectives, but it's not looking that way to start the season. A 1-0 defeat to newly promoted Cork City. Not the best start. I'm going to thrash my arms and say you weren't good enough tonight. It wasn't the sort of match we should be winning. So the first game of the season, and that leaves us sitting in 7th place. We do, of course, have games in hand over the majority of teams. Next up for us is the game against Shelburne, who got off to a winning start, 3-0 victory over Bohemian. So that is not encouraging, but hopefully we can do better against them. So here we are, second game of the season. It's 8th place Sligo Rovers against 5th place Shelburne. Hopefully we can do a bit better than we did against Cork City. And by a bit better, I mean a lot better, because that was very disappointing. We have done some changes to the positions and roles, well, just the roles really, of our players. So that the full-backs are now wing-backs on support, and then our wingers are now inside forwards. The idea in my head is that the wing-backs are going to obviously run forward and attack and defend, sort of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson style, and then Oluwa and Kearney as inside forwards are going to be cutting inside more, so the wing-backs will be overlapping the wingers, and then with Andre playing as a false nine. Basically, I'm trying to copy Liverpool, which is probably not a great idea for this level of football, but we'll see how it goes. Andre not very comfortable playing as a false nine. I'm not sure if Morrissey is any better. No, he's not. What about Sven Gertlicher? Is he any better as a false nine? Not really. The pitch isn't red anymore, which is a good thing, I guess. What's his dribbling like? He's got 14 dribbling. I reckon Sven can do that. So after one game, our loanee is dropping to the bench. There's also a couple more changes. Obviously, last game, Good Johnson and Power both had stinkers of matches. Alberkis can play as defensive midfield, so we'll bring him in at defensive midfield, as Gertlich has now gone red. Well, what a shame. We'll just stick Andre back up front then, in that case. This little experiment. And then Dara Power as the box-to-box. I was wanting to bring Buckley on as the box-to-box midfielder. I think Verdon's got pretty decent attributes, so we'll bring him in for Power. And then Buckley's a bit tired on the bench, so we'll stick Power on the bench for Buckley. And then Thomas Oluwa has not played well in training, so Stephen Christopher is going to come on for him. And we will leave it at that for the changes for this match. And hopefully this new little tactical tweak is going to help us out. Hopefully. I say that and we'll probably end up conceding 4 goals in the first 10 minutes. So team talk time. And we are going to pump our fist and say, let's show the world what this team is all about, shall we? So here we are in our red and white kit. Shelburne playing in a light blue and white kit today. And hopefully, as I said, we can finally get a win. I mean, finally, it's only the second game of the season. But it's Gallagher with the ball on the right-hand side, crosses it in. Andre's there. It wasn't Andre, it was Kearney. But it's 1-0. Gallagher getting forward as I was expecting him to on the wing-back role, and George Kearney putting that away nicely. Gallagher took the throw in to Fox. Fox played the ball back to Gallagher down the right-hand side. Played a lovely ball in. I thought it was Andre that got there. Instead it was George Kearney, but I don't care because it's 1-0 to Sligo. Throw in deep in our half. Fuller plays it to Beattie. Now it's McCabe. Ball in. Kelly's there and it's a great save. It was straight at Trevor Murphy, to be fair. But the chance continues, hopefully, with Marn at the back. Plays that to his central defensive partner, Rooney. Long ball forward, intercepted. And now another chance for Shelburne. Fuller skips past the defender. Fuller in the box. And it's a great save from Trevor Murphy to tip that round the post. It was definitely on target if Murphy hadn't been there. Sinani with the corner kick. And Murphy comes out and collects that. Very, very good performance in this opening 25 minutes from Trevor Murphy in goal. Gallagher with the ball on the right-hand side, plays to Alberkis, who's picked up a bit of a knock, but hopefully he can continue. Verdon switches it to the left, or tries to, but O'Reilly wins that back nicely. Kearney's now got it on the left-hand side. Ball into the box. Fox is there with a header, and that's just over the bar from Dara Fox. We're looking quite dangerous in the attacking third in this game, which is a nice change. And another chance, corner kick, Christopher whips it in. Alberkis is there, and it's over the bar from Sigitas, who is still struggling with that injury as we get to half-time at 1-0. We're going to say I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up, and we'll see how Alberkis is doing. Yeah, he's not doing great. He's injured and struggling to run it off, apparently. He's playing really well as well on a 7.2. No one else on a rating that I would want to take off, but I think we are going to have to take Alberkis off, unfortunately. I'm a bit concerned about that, because last time out, Power didn't have the best of times. but we've got no other options at defensive midfield. I know it says Conor O'Malley can play at defensive midfield, but his tackling is only 6, so I don't really play him there. Elsewhere, I'm not going to make any other changes for the time being. We do, of course, have Morrissey and Alua on the bench as attacking threats, and then Kavanagh and Wells as defensive options. Daniel O'Reilly's picked up a yellow card at left back, so Kavanagh could maybe come on if it looks like O'Reilly is going to get himself sent off, but we'll leave it as is for the time being. Well, as is, with the one change of Power coming on as Shelbourne have the ball straight from kick-off in the second half. It's Fuller. He's scored a few times against us in the past. Boyle with a ball to McCabe on the left-hand side, back to Lunny, now McCabe again, and Lunny again, and he gives that away, and it could be a counter-attacking opportunity for us. Andre to Verdon, lovely switch to the right-hand side to Christopher, who cuts inside, and it's a good save from Hunter, who loops that ball out to his teammate McCabe, but the higher ended, and we have a throw in now. It's Verdon to Power. Now Fox with a bit of space through to Andre. It's Andre! And he's missed his chance to get his first goal for Sligo. I feel like Morrissey or Gertlicher would have probably scored that one. Andre, I'm going to give you this game and the next game, but if you don't start scoring, you're out of the team, as Shelbourne had a good chance there with a corner kick just headed over the bar. Okay, so just over 10 minutes to go, and there's a couple of players looking tired out there, so we're going to take Fox off and bring on Conor O'Malley at advanced playmaker, and we're going to take George Kearney off and bring on we'll bring on Danny Morrissey at left wing, give him a bit of a run out today, the more experienced player, shall I say, as Morrissey has the ball on the left hand side and gives it away. That's a great start to the game, Morrissey, well done. And now Power has got himself sent off, has he? Brilliant. Okay, so half-time substitute Dara Power picking up a second yellow card. We've got just over 4 minutes to go in this one. Not great at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to move Christopher to left wing, move Morrissey up front, Andre to right wing, and then drop Morrissey down to advanced playmaker, shadow striker, we'll put him as, in attacking centre midfield, and hopefully we can consolidate our position in the lead and not concede a late goal caused by Power. But there is a chance here for someone. Murphy, long ball towards Andre, headed to Morrissey. It's probably the best thing I've seen Andre do all game. Morrissey trying to skip past the defenders, but he loses out. Marn comes in with an intercepting header brilliantly. Now Morrissey's got it again, skips past the defender this time. Can he get a ball in? He shoots instead, and it's a good save from Hunter, tipping that over the bar as we head into the 3 minutes of additional time. Christopher has a corner from this left-hand side. Can he find a man in red? It's Christopher towards back post, and Hunter collects that quite easily for Shelbourne, as Shelbourne have a free kick deep in their own half. Boyle with the ball forward, intercepted by Marn, who plays a ball to absolutely no one, and White is going to get this at right back for Shelbourne now. It's Hoare, back to Hunter, long ball to Lunny on the left hand side, advancing forward now, no one coming in to make a tackle because we do have that gap in defensive midfield, and there is a late equaliser from Dara Markey for Shelbourne. Dara Power he's just put us in the mud, to be honest. It's a 1-1 draw. We looked so good for the win all game, and then Power goes and does something stupid and gets himself sent off, and we lose the extra 2 points. So it's just the 1 point for us today. I'm going to say unlucky, boys, because it wasn't their fault. It was Dara Power's fault. So that result leaves us sitting third bottom where we finished last season after 2 games of this season. But on the plus side, I saw some positive things from the rule changes that we had for this game. Like I said, I'll give Andre 1 more game to try and prove his worth, but if he doesn't, then I'm going to bring Sven Gertlicher in instead of him. Dara Power is not going to play for a little while because I'm quite annoyed at him for getting himself sent off there. We got so close. It was injury time when they equalised. If he hadn't got himself sent off, there wouldn't have been such a gap for their attacker to run into, and we wouldn't have conceded the goal. So Alberca's injury isn't too bad, 2 to 3 days with a bruised ankle, and Power is obviously banned for 1 match. So looking ahead to the next episode, we will play the games against Longford Town and Shamrock Rovers. So Longford Town should be hopefully a bit of an easier game, and then the Shamrock Rovers one, of course, is going to be one of the hardest games of the season. But in the meantime, off camera, I'll play the games against Waterford, St Pat's Athletic, Dundalk, Bohemian and Derry City, and hopefully we can get this tactic working for us with the new rules and we can start picking up some wins, as we haven't got a win yet this season. Of course, only 2 games played, but still was expecting to beat Cork City, to be honest. But that is it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get all more content when it comes out, hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I'll see you next time.